We just planted a church in the West End of Atlanta. The West End is a spot of town that's kind of low income, disenfranchised, and so what's going on is there was a group of folks that were a part of Blueprint Church that 4 years ago, they moved there and they spent their time and they served and served and served and served and served. So for 4 years, we've had a group of folks investing the hope of the gospel, serving the community and trying to serve them well, and they've done it well and they've made a good name for themselves. So it got to the point where our aim was to launch this church in June. So in May, what takes place is we're at our church and we host this bike tour where there's a bunch of folks that are riding through the southwest side of Atlanta, and they come into the church and we give them food, water, and all of that stuff. So as we host this, right, trying to engage and trying to help them, what takes place is one of our church members comes up to me and they're like, "Hey, John, there were these two guys here, and the two guys hold an influential place in the neighborhood association that we're in." And he's like, and I overheard them talking. And what they said was, "Man, it's so awesome that there's this church here. We're so glad that it's a part of our community." We're in this old church building that's been vacant for so long. And what they said was, "Man, wouldn't it be so great if this church building was the first place in Atlanta to host a gay wedding? Man, and we can make it that." And right then, it hit me. Because of the commitment that we have to God's word, regardless of how much we serve and do and seek the welfare of the city, what's going to take place is that eventually there is going to be a time where the world hates us, primarily because of the commitment that we have to God's word. We can't just embrace freedoms for the sake of love and for the sake of unity. We're bound, we're committed to God's word. We are the people of God. We've been birthed by God's word. God spoke the word of the gospel into our hearts. It saved us from our sin. It's changed us, and not just us by ourselves, but there's a group of folks that it changes, and now the core of our unity is surrounded by, or what lies at the heart of it is God's word. We don't have any unity or hope or joy outside of God's word. We can't just throw it overboard. And at the end of the day, it is going to cost us at some point the approval of the world.